From reaction to regulation, how emotional awareness changes everything. What if the reason we keep repeating the same old emotional cycles isn't because we're broken, but because we've never been taught how to regulate what we feel? What if our reactions aren't character flaws, but nervous system responses? In today's episode of Cut to the Chase at 8, we're exploring how emotional awareness shifts us from unconscious reaction into intentional regulation, and how learning to pause, notice, and respond instead of react can completely transform our relationships, our leadership, our healing, and how we love and our peace. We'll unpack why emotional triggers hold hidden information, how awareness creates emotional freedom, and how regulation builds clarity, confidence, love, and self trust. So take a breath, settle in, and let's get into it. Hey y'all, I am Madison Simone Chase, and I'm also known as Miss Chase. I was raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan and my best friend, for real, my BFF. I'm a celebrity certified personal trainer, fitness and wellness expert, and sports and entertainment media host. I was born in Fort Worth, raised in Dallas, and built in Los Angeles. I trained at Juilliard with the School of American Ballet, becoming the world's only three-time ESPN Miss Fitness Champion, appearing in over 450 fitness DVDs, and the first of those 450 fitness DVDs, was led by celebrity trainer Gunnar Peterson, known for training the Kardashian family. As a certified personal trainer, celebrity trainer myself, I've worked with Robert Pattinson of Twilight and Batman, Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, Amber Riley of Glee, Dancing with the Stars, and The Masked Singer champion. And as a sports and entertainment media host, I've had the joy of interviewing Richard Branson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, Tiana Taylor, Justin Baldoni, and Issa Rae. I share my story to honor the sacrifices my mom planted so that I could blossom and flourish into the woman I'm still becoming. So, wherever you are listening from, pull up a digital chair, grab you some hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my cozy home of Cut to the Chase at 8. It is a 15-minute micro-learning moment for macro living. And I am so overjoyed that you are here, because this is where we're going to explore life, spirit, mind, and body through lived experiences, mine and yours, and grow with intention. So join me daily for just 15 minutes, twice a day at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central, because this is your daily pause for a cause, for clarity, for wellness, for allowing grace in this space, and for intentional decision making. In each episode, my offer to you are 3 keys and 1 reflection question. And my hope is that you discover simple, practical, grounded takeaways and something you could carry with you. So let's breathe together. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's cut the noise, let's get clear, and let's get ready, let's get set, and let's grow. All right, we are settled in, so wherever you are right now, if you're driving, walking, cooking, resting, or simply pausing, or being a caretaker, let's allow this space to become a moment of grounding, a soft place to land. So here's today's question that I want to start with. What if emotional awareness is the doorway to personal freedom? Most of us were never taught how to understand our emotions. We were taught how to suppress them, how to control them, how to ignore them, how to push past them and through them, and power over them. But we were rarely taught how to listen to them, to take heed to them, to hear what our spirit is saying. And because of that, many of us live in reaction instead of regulation. We react to stress, pressure, conflict, disappointment, expectations, heartbreak, emotional triggers, instead of pausing, breathing, noticing, and choosing And when we live in reaction, life feels chaotic. But when we live in regulation, life begins to feel intentional and peaceful. So, why emotional awareness matters? Emotions are not problems, they are signals. And every emotion carries information. Fear says something feels unsafe. Anger says a boundary has been crossed. Sadness says something needs to be processed. Anxiety says something feels uncertain. Overwhelm says capacity has been exceeded. Heartbreak says there was an expectation and a boundary and you crossed it. But when we don't understand our emotional language, we misinterpret the message. Instead of listening, we react. Instead of processing, we suppress. Instead of regulating, we explode or we implode. And slowly, emotional confusion becomes emotional exhaustion. Which brings us to key number 1. Emotions are information, not instructions. Our emotions are meant to inform us, not control us. Just because we feel something doesn't mean we have to act on it. Awareness creates space between stimulus and response. And this space is where our power lies and lives. And when we pause and notice, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? What is this emotion trying to tell me? We regain power in our choices. And choice creates freedom. And without awareness, emotions run the show. With awareness, we become the director and not the actors. Lived experience, my learning to pause. There was a time when I reacted emotionally, quickly, instinctively, automatically. And if I felt hurt, I shut down. I disappeared. If I felt misunderstood, I over-explained. If I felt threatened, I lashed out, I defended. If I felt overwhelmed, I pushed harder. I didn't pause. I didn't reflect. I reacted. And that reaction cost me my peace, energy, and clarity. And so sometimes learning to pause, even for 5 seconds, and taking a breath, inhaling for 3, exhaling for 5, and it completely shifted my life. That pause gave me the ability to choose, and choice gave me emotional freedom to start communicating assertively and not aggressively. Key number 2, awareness creates emotional regulation. Regulation doesn't mean we don't feel. It means we don't drown in what we feel. Regulation allows us to feel, notice, process, and respond instead of react. When we become emotionally aware, we begin to see patterns. Why certain people trigger us, why certain situations overwhelm us and consume us, and why specific environments and or people in those environments drain us. And environments could also be what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're consuming on social media. That is also a part of your digital environment. And why familiar emotional loops keep repeating. Yeah, and nobody wants to be the hamster on the wheel or continuously going in a circle over and over and over again. Awareness gives us clarity, and clarity gives us control, and control gives us peace, and that peace is freedom. Lived experience and breaking emotional loops. There was a season where I kept repeating emotional patterns. The same types of conflicts, the same type of emotional exhaustion, the same kind of misunderstandings, the same internal frustration. And I finally had to ask myself why and what keeps showing up in similar ways, because I haven't learned what I'm supposed to learn in either the way that I'm expressing myself or the way that I'm setting boundaries or not setting boundaries. And that question changed everything because awareness, it doesn't judge, it reveals. And once I saw the pattern, I had the power to change it, and so do you. Which brings me to key number 3, regulation. Building self-trust. Every time we pause, reflect, and respond, instead of react, we strengthen our self-trust and love for ourselves and our boundaries. Our nervous system begins to learn I am safe, I am in control, I am loved, and I can handle this. And that safety changes how we move through the world. Instead of communicating aggressively, we create communication that is assertive, that demands our boundaries. And we become calmer, clearer, more grounded, more emotionally steady. And emotional steadiness creates leadership, peace, love, and resilience. My lived experience again. Choosing response over reaction. One of the greatest shifts in my life was learning to ask, what response aligns with who I am flourishing and blossoming into and becoming, not who I used to be? And this question for me reframed everything. Instead of reacting from old wounds, I began responding from healing. Instead of defending, I began discerning. Instead of explaining, I began embodying. And I was no longer tied to people, places, or things that no longer were reciprocal in their words and their actions. And I started to again read the room. And that shift created emotional maturity and peace and freedom for me. So bringing it together. Reactions keep us trapped. Regulation sets us free. And awareness is the bridge to both of those. We don't need to control our emotions. We need to understand them and be kind to them and sometimes sit next to them and figure out what and or how are we going to respond. Because when we understand ourselves, we transform our lives. So the one question that I'm reflecting on today and asking you to reflect on as well is, where in your life are you being invited to pause and notice and respond instead of react? And I want you to sit with this question and ask yourself and be honest and authentic, because if you can't be honest and authentic with yourself, then you'll never be honest and authentic with other people. Because awareness is where transformation begins. So, before we go, thank you truly from the bottom of my heart and the top of my heart for sharing this time with me. And it has been an honor and a pleasure to sit with you in this space. So let's quickly revisit today's 3 keys. Emotions are information, not instructions. And it's up to us to figure out how we're going to use that information and how we're going to move forward with those instructions. So key number 1, emotions are information, not instructions. And we can't be afraid of moving through those emotions. And key number 2, awareness creates emotional regulation. Awareness. So being aware of what is triggering you, what spaces and or people, places and things and environments you no longer need to be around if it's triggering you, that's important to be aware. And reading the room and how people respond to you. Key number 3, regulation builds self-trust and emotional resilience. And your one question to reflect on, where in your life are you being invited to pause, notice, and respond instead of react? So if today's episode offered you clarity, grounding, or a pause for a cause you didn't know you needed, or if anything I shared today pricked your heart or lit a spark, please subscribe and share this with someone you care about. And leave a comment so that this isn't a monologue but a dialogue. And leave a 5-star rating, and helps this space to grow. And let's close with one breath. Inhale for 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central. This is Cut to the Chase at 8 with me, Madison Simone Chase. Let's cut the noise. Let's get clear. Let's get ready, set, grow, and go, and be great. Blessings to you and yours. Until tomorrow.